Patrick Kenzie and his partner Angie Gennaro make their living as small-time private investigators, chasing down debtors and other minor cases around their Boston neighborhood. Their jobs are straightforward, keeping them constantly moving through streets they know by heart. Then everything changes. One day, the whole community is rattled when 4-year-old Amanda disappears from her home. News of the missing girl spreads fast and soon hits every TV screen. Her Aunt Bee appears on camera, begging whoever took Amanda to bring her back and promising they won't press charges if she's returned safely. BA's terror feels stronger than even Amanda's mother's fear. Amanda was last seen in the house, glued to the TV with her beloved doll, Mirabelle, in her hands. After that moment, nothing is clear, and no one can say what really happened. The next morning, Bea and Amanda's Uncle Lionel show up at Patrick and Angie's apartment. They plead with them to help find Amanda. Patrick is ready to jump in, but Angie hesitates. They don't usually handle cases this serious or dangerous. Still, Bea's desperation slowly wears Angie down, and she agrees to at least go see the house. When they arrive, police are still swarming the place even though Amanda has already been missing for 3 days. Inside, Amanda's mother, Helene, refuses to talk to Patrick and Angie. She's exhausted from constant interrogation and snaps at them, showing no patience at all. Bea and Lionel pull the pair aside and beg again for their help. Bea clutches Amanda's photo with shaking hands, reminding them she's only 4 years old. This time, Angie softly agrees to take the case. Lionel explains that Helene spends most nights drinking at a local bar and wasn't home the night Amanda vanished. To Patrick, the whole situation feels off. A small child disappears from a house where adults should be watching her, yet nobody can give a straight answer. While they comb through Amanda's room, Boston Police Captain Jack Doyle walks in. He runs the child crimes unit and wants to know why Patrick and Angie are there. Once he hears the family hired them, he allows them to stay on the case and offers limited help through his detectives. Armed with their first lead, Patrick and Angie head to the bar where Helene usually drinks. They press the bartender for answers, but he stonewalls them just like Helene did. The investigation starts with dead ends and growing frustration. Then Patrick bumps into an old childhood friend at the bar by sheer luck. The man shares what he knows. On the night Amanda disappeared, Helene was at the bar with her boyfriend, getting high. That detail completely shifts the direction of the case. Patrick learns the boyfriend, Ray, is a drug dealer, and Helene herself is deep in addiction. The case stops being a simple kidnapping and starts to feel tangled and messy. Before Patrick can pry out more details, another man barges in and shuts down the conversation, warning his friend to keep quiet. The mood turns hostile, and a fight seems ready to explode. Patrick quickly draws his pistol, freezing the room and making it clear he isn't here to fool around. After knocking the aggressor aside, he calmly walks out with Angie. Soon after, they meet 2 detectives from Doyle's team, Remy and Nick. The detectives brief them on what they know. A convicted child molester named Corwin and his partner were recently released, but nobody knows where they are. Still, Corwin usually targets boys, so the connection feels weak. Patrick challenges how little headway the police have made, sparking tension between him and the detectives. They initially treat him as an outsider and dismiss him. That attitude changes when Patrick reveals that Helene wasn't home that night and her story doesn't fit the timeline. Realizing Patrick has valuable information, Remy and Nick start to treat him as a serious ally. Following a new lead, Patrick and Angie visit a local drug player named Bubba, hoping to connect Ray to his operation. Bubba confirms Ray doesn't work for him but for another dealer known as Cheese. The web of people involved in the case keeps expanding. Before leaving, Patrick also asks about Corwin. Bubba finds the question strange but agrees to pass on anything he hears. With Ray and Cheese now pulled into the picture, Patrick and Angie return to Helene's house with Remy and Nick. This time, they step back and let the detectives run the interrogation. Under relentless pressure, Helene finally cracks and spills everything. She confesses that she and Ray were moving drugs for Cheese. One night, after making a delivery, the police swooped in and arrested the buyers almost immediately. Because Amanda was with them, the officers assumed they were just an ordinary family and let them walk. Afterward, Helene and Ray chose to keep the drug money instead of turning it over. They lied to Cheese, claiming the police had seized all of it. Not long after that, Amanda disappeared. As the truth settles, everyone starts seeing the link. Cheese might have taken Amanda to punish them for stealing his money. When they demand the cash, Helene finally gives in and leads them to Ray's place. Once they arrive, they find Ray already dead, clearly tortured before being killed. Yet the money is still nowhere to be seen. Helene finally admits she hid it in the backyard herself. Now the threat feels truly real. Helene realizes her greed may have put her daughter in danger, and panic crashes over her. She begs them to bring Amanda home. Remy orders Patrick to drive Helene back while they move ahead with a plan to confront Cheese. On the ride, Helene slowly falls apart under the weight of guilt. When they reach her house, she breaks down completely, Patrick to promise he'll bring Amanda back alive. The case has turned darker, and every move now feels heavier and more dangerous. Later that night, Patrick asks Remy to let him talk directly to Cheese. He argues that he knows people in Cheese's circle and can negotiate. The detectives reluctantly agree. Patrick meets Cheese walking on eggshells. He claims he knows where the stolen money is and who killed Ray. He lays out a simple deal. Return Amanda and this all ends without bloodshed. Cheese doesn't buy it. He pulls a gun, forcing Patrick and Angie to prove they're not working with the cops. After searching them, he listens but denies any role in the kidnapping. He insists he doesn't have the girl, but if the money belongs to him, he still wants it back. Patrick pushes harder, warning that if Cheese doesn't return Amanda, he'll spread word on the streets that Cheese is a police informant, using both his connections and official channels. The conversation grows dangerously tense, and the negotiation collapses. They leave empty-handed. Afterward, Remy lashes out at Patrick for wrecking what might have been their best shot. With no other path forward, the team prepares to move through legal channels, praying Amanda is still alive while they wait for a warrant. The next morning, everything flips. Remy calls them in to reveal that Cheese contacted the police overnight. At the station, Captain Doyle explodes over Patrick's unauthorized meeting, but he still lets them continue because Amanda's life could hinge on it. Jack then presents a transcript of Cheese's call, outlining the time and place for a trade. The police divide into two teams for the exchange. Angie and Remy will focus on getting Amanda, while the others handle delivering the money at a separate lakeside spot. At night, they take up positions around an abandoned quarry, tension rising as both sides get ready. Before anything can unfold, gunshots rip through the air. Cheese and his crew spring an ambush on the cops. The officers fire back, and a wild shootout erupts. Amid the chaos, Cheese is killed and someone tumbles into the water. Angie spots something drifting on the surface. Amanda's doll. She dives into the water without thinking, frantically searching for the girl. But Amanda is nowhere to be found. Only the doll surfaces. Search teams scour the area for days, but Amanda never turns up. Eventually, the police announce she's presumed dead. The fallout is heavy. Doyle takes the blame and retires early. Patrick and Angie are crushed by guilt, convinced their choices may have worsened everything. For Patrick, one doubt won't die. Something about Cheese's ambush doesn't add up. Cheese had no real reason to risk so much in that exchange, and that inconsistency gnaws at him. 2 months pass, and life drains slowly out of Patrick and Angie's routine. The case haunts them, and the guilt never fully fades. Then another child is abducted, reigniting the same fear throughout the neighborhood. This time, nobody hires Patrick. Instead, Bubba tracks him down at a bar with new intel. He's found Corwin, now holed up with a drug-addicted couple. Patrick and Bubba head there immediately. At the house, Bubba calmly offers drugs to the couple, keeping them distracted. While they're occupied, he quietly searches the place for Corwin and the missing boy. The couple grows suspicious, and the mood turns sharp. Patrick steps in, pulls his gun, and takes control. Right then, Corwin appears at the top of the stairs. On his wrist dangles a necklace that belongs to the missing boy. Patrick and Bubba spot it instantly but stay composed. Instead of reacting, they leave quietly, pretending nothing is wrong. Later that night, Patrick returns with Remy and Nick. This time, they won't wait for a warrant. They force their way into the house to rescue the boy. The moment they storm inside, chaos erupts. Gunfire explodes, and Nick takes a bullet to the neck before Remy can swing around from the back. Patrick charges upstairs and finds Corwin hiding in the bathroom, trembling and muttering that it was an accident. On the floor lies the boy's body. The sight shatters Patrick's restraint. Without thinking, he raises his gun and shoots Corwin. Even with Corwin dead, they can't save the boy. Nick also dies from his wound. The operation ends in tragedy. Angie tries to console Patrick, saying Corwin deserved what he got. Patrick sees it differently. He believes justice should come through the law, not personal rage. Outside the hospital, Remy talks to Patrick, trying to ease his conscience. insisting he did the right thing even if he crossed a line. As the conversation goes on and the alcohol hits, Remy opens up about his past. He admits that years ago, he planted evidence to help a family escape an abusive man. During that story, he casually mentions Ray, letting slip that Ray had been his informant for years. That detail immediately alarms Patrick. Remy had previously claimed he didn't know Ray at all. Now the stories conflict. Remy keeps talking, saying that sometimes people have to choose between what's right and what's legal, even if it means breaking the rules. Patrick listens but doesn't agree. He quietly admits he no longer knows exactly where he stands. Later at home, he tells Angie about Remy's conflicting story. Angie urges him to drop it, reminding him Amanda is gone and nothing can change that. But Patrick can't shake the feeling that something is seriously wrong. Remy knew Ray before. He might know more about Amanda's disappearance than he ever admitted. After Nick's funeral, Patrick confronts Remy directly. Remy responds with a threat, telling him to back off. Patrick refuses and starts digging deeper using his contacts. A friend in the department shares a key piece of information. Remy knew about the stolen drug money before Cheese did. That revelation confirms Patrick's suspicions that Remy is hiding something major. The friend still warns him not to dig too deep. Going after a cop could explode in his face. Patrick goes home and lays everything out for Angie. Together, they start connecting the dots. If someone inside the system already knew about the stolen cash, the truth might be much closer than they thought. They decide Lionel is the first person they need to talk to, suspecting someone in that house knew more than they ever said. Later, Patrick and Angie meet Lionel at a bar and start grilling him about the missing money. The questions grow sharper until Patrick outright accuses him of being involved in Amanda's kidnapping. After resisting for a while, Lionel finally breaks and confesses. He explains that on the night Helene and Ray brought the money home, he overheard everything. He told Remy, and together they planned to take Amanda and use her as leverage. Their aim was to pressure Helene into giving back the cash. But once B went to the media and pulled in outsiders like Patrick and Angie, the plan spun out of control. With the pressure mounting, they tried to clean things up by arranging a deal with Cheese, hoping to quietly return Amanda. Instead, the quarry exchange blew up and everything collapsed. Lionel insists it was an accident and claims all he ever wanted was to protect Amanda from her mother. He breaks down, raging at Helene for neglecting her daughter and throwing her life away. In the middle of this, Remy suddenly bursts into the bar wearing a mask and stages a fake robbery. Patrick instantly recognizes the act. He calls out Remy's role in Amanda's kidnapping, forcing everyone in the bar to see what's really going on. The plan falls apart. As Remy hesitates, the bartender shoots him twice, forcing him to flee. Patrick chases him to the rooftop, where Remy collapses from his wounds. Patrick demands the truth, but Remy only manages to say that he loved children before he dies. Later at the station, other officers question Patrick about everything that happened. He lays out Lionel's confession and the full story behind the kidnapping. Then a detail jumps out. The officers point out that the police never use phone transcripts or recorded calls the way Patrick described from Doyle's earlier briefing. The realization hits hard. Captain Jack Doyle was in on it. Without wasting time, Patrick grabs Angie and heads straight to Jack's house, convinced Amanda might still be alive. When they arrive, they find her there, safe and unharmed. The whole truth finally clicks. Jack, Remy, Lionel, and even Nick were all part of the plan. They orchestrated everything to remove Amanda from her chaotic home and place her in what they believed would be a better life. Jack calmly lays out his reasoning. He believes Amanda deserves to grow up in a safe, stable environment, something Helene could never give her. Patrick listens but can't accept it. To him, the law still matters. No matter how flawed Helene is, she is Amanda's mother. If she's unfit, there are legal systems to handle that. Kidnapping the child was never the right answer. Jack urges him to think long-term. He asks Patrick to imagine Amanda's life years from now and consider whether this choice might save her future. Patrick quietly responds with his own conviction. If Amanda grows up and someday asks why no one brought her home, why no one told the truth when they had the chance, he couldn't live with having stayed silent. Jack has nothing to say to that. The room falls silent as Patrick is left to make the final call. Patrick walks back to the car, ready to call the police. Angie stops him. She believes Jack did the right thing and that Amanda would be safer and happier staying with him. She warns Patrick that if he goes through with this, she'll never look at him the same way again. Patrick hears her, but his decision stands. He apologizes softly and makes the call. Soon after, the police arrive. Jack is arrested, and Amanda is returned to her mother, Helene. Amid all the chaos, Amanda remains blissfully unaware of what truly happened. The decision leaves deep scars. Angie can't accept it and walks away from Patrick, ending their relationship. Even so, Patrick holds firm to what he believes is right. He visits Amanda from time to time, checking on her and trying to stay present in her life. One day, Helene asks him to watch Amanda while she gets ready to go out. She seems a bit better, off drugs, but still careless in her behavior. After she leaves, Patrick sits with Amanda and gently talks to her. He asks about her favorite doll, calling it Mirabelle. Amanda quietly corrects him. The doll's name is Annabelle. That tiny correction hangs in the air. It reveals a painful truth. Helene never really knew her own child. Patrick sits in silence, absorbing the weight of it. For the first time, he seriously questions whether following the law was truly the right choice in this case. It's a story where the facts are clear, but the right decision may never be.